Hello again. Most of us have seen over the last few years the way in which any white person in the public eye who slips up and uses the wrong word or even phrases a sentence badly when referring to race is likely to lose his reputation and possibly even his livelihood with startling rapidity. One remembers historian David Starkey, who was transformed overnight from one of the most popular historians on television and in print to a man whose books nobody would publish and who was banned from our television screens. The consequences of a simple slip of the tongue can be catastrophic. This is because Starkey and others like him are white and are therefore widely assumed to benefit from something called white privilege. Put a foot wrong though and see how that privilege vanishes like the morning dew. The case is very different, of course, if you happen to be black. You then have licence to say the most fat-headed and offensive things about race, and then after a cursory apology you can carry on as usual and nobody will hold it against you. We saw a wonderful instance of how this, well, I can only describe it as black privilege, works the other day. In Nazi Germany, race was a very big deal indeed. There was a Department of Racial Hygiene and everybody was classified according to very precise racial criteria. Even white Europeans were subdivided into Nordics, Alpins, Mediterraneans and Slavs. This was really pseudoscience at its very best. To suggest that the Nazis were not interested in race is so staggeringly bonkers that you would be hard-pressed to find anybody who would say anything so foolish. What kind of idiot would say that the Nazis did not base many of their most cruel and savage actions upon racial grounds? Step forward, Whoopi Goldberg, the black film star, who said precisely that very thing. She denied that the Holocaust had anything to do with race. This really was such a stupendously foolish thing to say that one wondered what she thought she was about. This is just the kind of thing which gets white men cancelled. She said of the Holocaust, let's be truthful about it. The Holocaust isn't about race. It's not about race. It's not about race. These are two white groups of people. You're missing the point. A day or so later, even after making a somewhat less than sincere apology, she followed this up by saying, when you talk about being a racist, you can't call this racism. Only a black person could get away with talking in this way, and I suspect that only a black person would talk like this about the worst racist massacre in history. Now, I'm sure we all know that many African Americans have a less than enthusiastic attitude towards Jews, and there's a lot of historic friction between the two ethnicities. But even so, this then is what I call black privilege. The right to be able to shoot your mouth off about race and say as many idiotic things as you like without anybody holding it against you in the long term. Only Jews are likely to object to this anyway, and the truth is that an awful lot of black people will agree with what Whoopi Goldberg said. This is because they are incapable of seeing race as anything other than black people and white. It really is a fascinating insight into modern attitudes. I give a link to a news item about this business in the description to this video.